Hey everyone, sorry we are starting just a few minutes late. We had a couple technical issues, but here we are. We're here and we're up, we're live. We have a live chat so that you could ask questions and I can give you answers. So we have Tanner here, Tanner Polsey. Say hello, Tanner, to everyone.
Hello, Tanner, to everyone. I'm super excited for this, and yeah, I'm ready to see Elli do some painting.
Yeah, so Tanner is here to help me with the questions because I can't walk and chew gum. So he is going to, be in the chat with you and facilitate that. So that will be going on, and that is a benefit for you being here live. So we are going to have a lot of fun today. It's going to be really, really cool. I am going to paint an abstract for you on this canvas. And I'm going to be talking through it, explaining why I'm making the choices I'm making and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. The reason I chose to do an abstract to talk and teach about the elements of art is because with abstract painting, you don't have imagery to rely on. You really just have the elements of art. You have to create your entire piece solely with the elements of art, and so that is you have to really have a mastery of the elements of art in order to be able to do it. So I feel like it's the best way to really illustrate the importance of those 7 elements. So I'm just going to give a little quick intro to me and who I am. My name is Elli Milan, and these are some of my credentials here. And I have been a professional artist for the last 30 years. I have sold my artwork all over the world in lots of different ways. I started out in the decor market, painting for basically interior design needs. And then I moved on to gallery representation and selling to collectors. I currently own a gallery here in Sarasota, Florida, with some partners. And I am one of the owners of Milan Art Institute. I started Milan Art Institute in 2010, and the reason I started it is because I really wanted to help artists earn a living selling their art. So that is my main focus of why I do what I do. The reason I'm doing this live free workshop for you to teach you what I know about the elements of art is because if you are watching, there is a percentage of you that has a dream, that has a goal to be a professional artist. It's what you want more than anything. You don't want to be working the day job you have. You want to be working for yourself as a professional artist and be able to pay your rent, feed yourself and your family with the sale of your artwork. And I want that just as much as you want that. And I am here to help you. That is why I'm here. I love helping artists. I love seeing all the success stories. I love watching people's lives transform. I believe the world needs more artists and more art sales and more art being collected. And we're in a renaissance right now. This is a brand new day for artists, and there's more ways to monetize what you do than ever before. And so I'm super excited to be a part of all of that. And even if you don't want to be a professional artist at this point, that is fine. Stick around because you can apply what I'm teaching today to your artwork, whether you paint abstract or you create an imagery. And I think it will elevate your artwork. I think you're going to walk away with something that you can bring to your artwork, and you're going to see a noticeable difference. And that is really cool because this is free. So imagine what you can get if you pay for one of our classes. So what are you going to learn today? You're going to learn the 7 foundational elements of art and how they work together. You're going to learn how to use line, shape, and form to build strong compositions, all about color, value, and texture, and how to create depth and emotion with these things, and the power of a scale for visual impact. So I think you're going to also learn a lot more than that, and really how to apply the elements of art to your own art. So what are the elements of art? Be a lot more conscious and aware of the elements of art at all times, because I had to critique a lot of artwork, I had to evaluate a lot of artwork, and I apply this to my own artwork as well as students to evaluate. And I look at value, I look at line, I look at color and texture and all the elements of art, and see where it falls short in those, to show them exactly how to fix their paintings or make their paintings even better. So let's take each one. I'm going to talk about each one just for a few minutes, and then I'm going to get painting and illustrate, each of these elements of art. So for line, there's all kinds of different line that you can create.
Ellie, we lost sound for a second. Just tell them that they didn't really miss anything. You're just going to go over all the elements of art right now.
Yeah, so I'm going to go over all the elements of art right now, taking each one by one, just for a few minutes, not long. Then I'm going to paint on this canvas, the abstract, and I'll actually illustrate each of the elements of art. So if we talk about line, there's all kinds of line that you can make. There's soft line, there's thin line and faint line, there's heavy and thick line. Of course, you can change the color up in the line. The line can have fuzzy, blurred edges, or it can be sharp and graphic. Lines can be curved, lines can be straight, they can be scribbly. There's so many ways to create line. A really great exercise in your sketchbook is try to see if you can make 100 different lines, and to stretch yourself to think of how much variety you can create with line. So with all of the elements of art, what really makes good art is when you use the elements effectively and variety. If you have a line in your abstract or in your painting, but it's all same, it's the same thickness, same color, it's the same kind of type of edge to it, and it really doesn't vary or change, then it's super boring, not very sophisticated, and that is what I tend to see in art that is not as good a quality. They're lacking the variety in the line, in the elements of art. So you want variety. Variety is everything. So lots and lots of variety. You want to push yourself to create as many differentials as you can. That's what's going to make for better artwork. Okay, same with shape. Shapes can be all different types. They can be more geometric. They can be more organic. You can overlap shapes. You can have shapes utilizing the other element of scale and going from big to small, but a similar shape. You can have sort of poetry between shape. I've seen, say you're painting a peacock, and you take the shapes that are in the tail, those sort of eye shapes in the tail, and you echo that, but change it or shift it a little bit into the background. And maybe you make this sort of abstracted background, and you sort of echo that shape into the background and give a poetic nod to it. So there's a lot of relationship when it comes to shape. And thinking about shape, there's negative shape, there's positive shape. So there's a lot to cover when it comes to shape, and a lot of ways to interpret that and utilize that into your artwork. So even just being conscious of the elements of art as you're creating is going to already elevate your art. Okay, what about form, and what is form? So form is the sort of three-dimensionality to an object or to a shape. It's taking a shape and then giving it form, giving it a three-dimensional look to it, or at least giving it mass. It could be a flat shape, but by putting dark underneath it, you've given it weight, you've given it mass. So it's the illusion of depth in how you create form. So there is a relationship between form and shape. There's a relationship between form and scale, and definitely value. There's definitely a relationship between that. If you look at this ball, the value that and the light source and the values that are in that ball is what gives it form. It gives it the illusion of that three-dimensionality. Okay, color, that is a big one. Color is so important. And there's all kinds of different facets to color. There's saturation of color. Now that everybody has a smartphone and computers, we've all collectively, whether you're an artist or not, learned a lot more about the elements of art. It's like everybody is an artist now if you have a smartphone. What do you do when you go into your photos? You pull up a photo, you adjust the value, you adjust the highlights, you adjust the color, you make it sepia, you make it less saturated, you make it more saturated, you put some kind of filter on it. All those filters is changing the form, changing the values, changing the color, changing the edges, sharpening them, blurring them, softening them. So really, if you want to explore the elements of art, just look at your smartphone and the photo editing. So when it comes to color, of course you have the hue. That is basically what color is it? Is it green? Is it blue? Is it red? Is it orange? That is the hue. And there's all kinds of color theory and color things that you can learn, primary colors, tertiary colors, the relationship of color. We're not really going into that with this. This is more of an overview, but within hue, there's a lot of things to learn about color. Now, color also has a value. One color, say green, could be dark, but it could also be light, depending on its value. And then we already talked about saturation. If it is heavily saturated, then it's going to have a very deep and intense version of that color versus a more muted version of that color. And having variety. So I kind of pre-planned that I'm going to do my abstract in a color relationship or a color story that I don't normally use, which is basically a violet and a green gold combination. So basically a violet towards red and magenta and a yellow that's towards green, that kind of color story. And I'm going to play with saturation. Some of the colors are going to be muted and more dirty, like a grayish violet, to a more intense deep magenta or fuchsia type violet. So saturation is really important. And then there's temperature. So your color could be warm or it could be cool. And there's different types of temperature where that's going really deep into color. But anyway, there's color temperature, and that also plays into color as an element. And I would say out of all the elements of art, the two that I think are most important are value and color. If you don't get color and value right, odds are really good your painting isn't going to be, done or executed at a very high level. On the other hand, if you can really get a hold of color and get good with color and very intentional with color, and you can really work color to your advantage, and you nail your value, you will have a fantastic painting, even if the rest of the elements of art sort of fall short. So color and value, I think, are extremely important for an artist. Okay, the next one is value, which I just said is extremely important. That's basically how dark or how light something is. There is a value scale from 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, 10 being the darkest and 0 or 1 being the lightest. And you can see that value scale right here. And what you want, basically like this statue portrait, is all of the values represented. You want the dark, dark, darks and the highlights, the very light tones, and then all of those midtones. If your drawing or your painting is all in just the midtones and it's missing the darks or it's missing the lights, it doesn't make for a very good piece. So you want that contrast. You want all of the value shades represented And if you are creating form with it, a three-dimensional illusion, just like this horse, just like this statue portrait, then you need your values to be correct. If it's supposed to be at a value 7 and you have it at a 4, it's going to be off. And likewise, if it's supposed to be a 4 and you have it too dark and it's an 8, it's going to be off. So you want correct value that shows what the light is actually doing, and you want those to be accurate. So you really need to train your eye to see value, and it's something anybody can learn in a very short period of time. I've known people that seem to be blind when it comes to value. They just don't see it. And after literally maybe 2 weeks of practicing and drawing, their eye is trained and they can see value and they can see it accurately. Another thing you really want to train your eye to see is color in value, because every color and saturation of color and how much tint or how much shade versus how much white or dark value is introduced into that color is going to alter the value of that color. So being able to see, let's say, true red right out of the tube and be able to know and understand what value that's at when it comes to painting and color, that is something you have to train your eye to see. And it comes, again, through practice, but you can pick it up very quickly if that is a weak spot for you. Okay, texture. So texture is just what it is, texture. Now you can have visual texture, you can have actual texture. So actual texture you can create with impasto painting, so very thick, heavy paint. You can use various mediums like modeling paste to build up that texture. But you can also create the illusion of texture. So a lot of these paintings that you see here have an illusion of texture where there's dry brush, for example, with that broken brush stroke that creates a texture. You can also create negative texture, like you can take your palette knife and scrape into your paint and scratch or remove a level to create a negative texture or a subtractive texture. So there's visual texture, actual texture, subtractive or the removal of texture, the absence of texture that creates, in comparison to the other texture. There's all kinds of fun mediums if you're into texture, and I think texture is really big right now when it comes to especially abstract art. In galleries that are selling art, I'm seeing a lot of very almost 3D elements in art, and it's very popular right now. So there's just lots of mediums, like Golden, the company Golden makes a lot of mediums like bead medium and pumice and sand and coarse texture and impasto texture. There's just a lot out there, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, scale. So scale is really important, and I think with scale, it's one of the elements that can help you, along with value and color and line, create depth. So if you have big things and then smaller things, it's going to feel like one is closer than the other. And so if you look at this abstract here, there are shapes that are larger and shapes that are smaller, and what that does is it creates this perception of depth. And you want variety in your scale. You want very tiny things, small things, medium things, large things that overlap and touch each other. And so scale is really important. And that can be combined with the other elements of art as well. Okay, so don't forget there is a free workbook that we are giving away for free with this live. I believe you can see it in the comments. I think Tanner will post it, but also I think it's in the description. Is that right?
Yes, it's in the description, and I just sent a link in the chat.
Okay, perfect. So you can download that absolutely for free, and it is really great. It will give you all the definitions of the elements of art that I just talked about, plus practical tips on how you can apply that to your artwork, and creative prompts where you can apply those and really explore this. So that is exciting. So that is our gift to you. Okay, so now it is time to get started. So I don't have a complete plan here. I don't really know what this is going to look like. We'll find out as I make it. I do have a color story that I'm going with. It's basically this color story here. I made these idea boards. Is it better to show it like this or like this? Like this? Here, okay. So, so I have these idea boards, and what I'm looking at, I collected these images. Some of them are like macro lenses of nature. I think these are germs or something, I don't know. These are leaves, that is geodes, I don't know. And then these are just some other abstracts I found online. And then we have some drawings I found online that people did with charcoal. So this is to just inspire me with line. Some of this is to inspire me with composition, different elements that I can put in there. It's just basically inspiration. I will borrow from some of these to use into my abstract. I think it's a little bit difficult, unless you make a lot of abstracts, to just get started as a blank slate with no jumping off point. It's pretty difficult. So I think it's good to have some kind of inspiration. There's a lot of ways to approach an abstract painting with inspiration. You could literally go to your closet and grab an interesting shirt that has a lot of pattern and color in it and pull it out and use your shirt to inspire your next abstract. You can do what I did and just grab some things off the internet, put an idea board together, and create something from that. So there's just lots of ways. You can go around with your camera and take close-ups of a lot of stuff, and pay attention to textures and scale, line and color, and then create an idea board out of the photos that you take out in nature. So lots of different ways that you can go about it. And so, where did my brushes go? Oh, here they are. So I am going to start with just some washes. So I like to kind of start thin to thick with some thin washy paint. And I'm just basically going to, start laying down some runny paint and work out, I don't know, some form and some shapes and areas of color. And I want to make sure that I don't make everything the same size. So I'm thinking about scale, and I'm thinking about, a little bit about the composition, sort of, and how much of one color do I want? Like, how much geography of the violet do I want as opposed to the yellow and the green? And so that's just like something that I'm thinking about. And I think I want it dominant in the violet. I think I want the violet to be a bit more on there than the green or the yellow. I also want to incorporate some, in terms of color, some neutrals. I don't want everything to be just bright, intense color. So I am going to add, I don't know, some black, some white, some gray, and have some neutrals in there. So now I might want to just, I don't know, take a brush and just kind of create some lines in there. And in the beginning, you can just be, I don't know, very spontaneous and just, do stuff that you feel like doing without too much worry or care about exactly where it's going. because it's just going to be built up in layers. And how I'm doing is I'm just kind of feeling my way through it and responding to what I have. I'm trying to kind of find a little bit of a composition, and I'm not worrying so much about value right now. Some of the elements of art I sort of think about more towards the end. I think about scale probably all the way through, because I'm working back to front. I'm working just like you would a regular painting. You usually start with the background, then if you were painting a landscape, you start with the sky, what's at the horizon line, the things that are far away. Then you start building up on top of that, the things that are in the midground, right? And then at the end, you start to put the things that are in the foreground, and you save your details for last. I'm approaching this very much the same way. I'm thinking about background, resting space. What do I want maybe to come forward? Right now, it's all kind of the same, but that is what I'm beginning to think about right now, is what is going to be background? What might be further away and sort of atmospheric versus what is going to be a little bit closer? And Tanner, just anytime you have a question in there for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Some people are wondering about the colors you're using and
The what?
the colors you're using, and if you're using acrylic, which you are.
Yeah, I'm using acrylic. What colors exactly? I'm using all kinds of colors. Quinacridone violet, dioxazine purple. I'm mixing a lot of things together. So you can kind of see on my palette here the different colors that I have out. This green gold is really cool. I'm going to do something that I don't do very often. I'm gonna see if it works. I'm pouring this medium here. Another thing, to get variety in the elements of art, you want to kind of use and capitalize on different tools. So this is kind of an experiment. This could flop, I don't know. But I'm using this varnish, or this medium here, this gloss medium, and I'm putting it on this scraper tool, and I'm just gonna kind of scrape through this transparent magenta just to see, what I can get. And in these base layers, as I build up the layers, I can, afford mistakes. It's not a big deal to me if I, make a bunch of mistakes at this stage, because I'm about to pile on some spray paint and all kinds of things. But, if you just stick with brushes, and it adds, a visual texture, right? So now I'm kind of playing with the idea of texture by using this palette knife to kind of scratch into it. It might be something you only see, and also line, right? I have this line, I have that line. I'm building lines as well while I do this. So always changing things up, always piling on the layers is really going to be a great way to achieve that variety and in all the elements of art. And that is really what it takes to make a cool painting, is adding all of that variety.
Someone's wondering if drawing and painting has always come naturally to you.
No, I used to be absolutely terrible. I learned really everything. I was not a very talented. I wasn't like great at art as a kid. I had to learn it, and I wouldn't say I was naturally talented or I always had a passion for it. I was extremely into coloring as a kid, and any kind of art related anything. But I wasn't very good. I was never recognized in school. My friends were, and other people, but not me. I wasn't recognized at all for art. So it hasn't always come easy to me. That's why when I hear of people that tell me, I can't draw at all, but I've always wanted to be an artist. I'm not very good, and I don't know what I'm doing. I get very excited because I was the exact same way. I don't think that you have to be naturally great at art to be an artist. I think that is, now you can be, but you don't have to be. Okay, well, just when I said I was not going to put an equal amount of violet and green gold, look what I've done. I've put an equal amount. So I can change that anytime. I can cover up some of this. I can add more of the violet. There's a lot of things that I can do to change that up. I kind of wanted this kind of green gold to be more of an accent color, and the primary color, or the more dominant color, to be the violet. And I wanted to play with, like I said, saturation, where some of it is more intense, and other parts of that violet would be, muted and a little bit more, less saturated. So, okay, I think at this point I'm gonna add some spray paint because I like spray paint. To me, spray paint is something I can just keep working with and layer. So I have these stencils here, and I'm gonna just play with these stencils and kind of, I don't know, create an area of interest. I don't want to spray your computer. I'm going to move it.
That's fine.
But I'm afraid if I close it, I'll never... Okay.
I've spilt many of things on that computer, so, what's more?
Yeah, and I'm loving this violet, this bright blue violet with that color. So pretty cool. But I don't want to overdo it. Sometimes, you really like something, and then you kind of overdo it, and I don't want to do that. So what I like to do is really pile on, this, is this the problem child? Pile on some spray paint, kind of almost overdo it in a way. This is the problem child. I guess I won't be using that color. Like kind of overdo it in a way and not, let's see. Maybe it's my nozzle. And then I can layer it after that.
Some people are wondering where you get your stencils from.
Oh, Amazon has every stencil in the universe ever made. So I would say Amazon's probably your best bet for stencils.
And she is using Liquitex spray paint right now.
Yeah, this is indoor spray paint, so it will, and this is a transparent. I really like transparent spray paint. Maybe I don't like these letters. I thought I wanted the letters, but now I'm kind of feeling like I don't. So I think I just want to freehand it. What else can we do? This is a pretty color.
Holding the spray paint can close to the canvas is how you can get a thinner line, like she's doing.
Yeah, that's correct. All right, and while we're playing around, maybe I will add, I don't know what's gonna happen here. This could be a disaster, but I'm just gonna add this bright pink ink. I don't know if that was a good idea, because now it's just gonna all drip down. Yeah, I don't know. You know, if you blow it, you just kind of, ooh, have a happy accident. Look at that. That is really cool. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I am liking that a lot. So this is adding texture, you know, in a really kind of fun way that I didn't know would happen. So I've kind of made a little discovery for myself here. Okay. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute, and I'm going to talk about some of the materials while this is just drying a little bit. It doesn't need long, just a second, because I got it kind of wet and goopy. If I go to paint on it right now, while it's so wet, it's going to begin to get really, really muddy. So as it's drying, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the materials I have here. And I'm going to also talk about like what my next moves are, because I would call this a very good, strong base. That's how I feel about it. I have, you know, the makings of a background down in here, all of the areas that are blended and, you know, kind of not at war with each other. You don't notice them. They sort of sit back and kind of disappear into the background. That's going to be my far away, my background. Because with an abstract and all your art, you want depth. You really want to create that depth through the elements of art. Now down in here, again, it's very, you know, mellow and, you know, not a lot of contrast happening. So it's receding. And this over here is kind of receding. And these are acting as resting space. And I don't want to make this so busy. I kind of want to keep all my busy parts to a certain area and let the rest of it sort of be resting space for your eye. Otherwise, you just get overwhelmed. And so next, I need to start pulling some of these areas forward, and I need more saturated color. I need highlights. All of my values, right? Value, one of the important elements of art. If I squint my eyes at it, I don't have too many darks. This is about the only area here and a little bit in there. And I don't have too many light tones. Most of my values are between, you know, 3 and 7. So I need some darks and I need some highlights in particular for the value to really work. Now, I have a lot of cool things happening with line, but you know, we have different thicknesses. Some are faint, some are thick, some are thinner. Some are really, really far away and underneath. And I have charcoal here. I like to use charcoal because it's very forgiving. And if you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit impulsive. I just kind of do things. I don't know if it's going to work. Then if I don't like it, I try something else. So that's why I really like charcoal, because I can, you know, put something on there and then go, ugh, I don't like that at all, and I can get rid of it. So charcoal, to create different kind of line qualities or elements in there is something I like to add. So I have some charcoal. I have this acrylic paint pen that I might be using on some dry spots. If you use your paint pens on wet paint, they get ruined. And then I have just some various tools. This is a roller. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that or not, but it gives you some really cool texture. So if I'm feeling like I want some texture, some more texture in here, I already have a lot of texture happening, but if I want more, this roller will get me some very interesting texture.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, it's a miracle. I didn't really get any paint on it. Okay, so what else do I have? This is that medium, that gloss varnish medium. It will make your paint more transparent and kind of juicy looking. So that's fun to play with your transparent paint. In case you don't know, acrylic paint, most paint comes in either transparent or opaque. The opaque paint like this white, these over here, you can't see through them, but the transparent paint you can. So when you work with a medium or you just water it down and thin it out, it'll become transparent like stained glass.
Some people are wondering if you ever tried airbrushing.
I really want to. That is because I love spray paint so much. I have a friend, an artist, her name is Shen, and she's a really fantastic artist, and she is like an expert at her airbrush, and she does a mixed media approach with it, and it's really cool. And I see some of the effects she's able to get with it, and I really want to learn how to do it. So that is on my list of things to learn.
While we're waiting for things to dry, someone's wondering, how would you determine the ratio or focal point on a round canvas? Is it the same rules as a rectangular canvas?
Focal point, yeah, whether it's a round canvas or a rectangle canvas or a square, rule of thirds is your best bet for, so rule of thirds is, again, just look at your smartphone and they put that grid on every photo, wherever they intersect. So you put it in 3 and 3 equal parts, and where those lines intersect is where you should put your focal point. So your focal point basically could go here, 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 or here. And that is true on a round canvas as well. It doesn't change. You can still divide it up into 3 equal parts. Okay, I think it's dry enough to kind of work with. So I'm going to work with my opaques, and I'm going to try to get some lighter values in here. And this big brush and sort of scumble and dry brush here. To try to get this to kind of go back. So I'm sort of starting a little bit at the beginning point of back to front. I'm working on, what is furthest away, the background, to what is closest to us. So I'm just scumbling here, which is just using a very thin layer of paint and scrubbing the canvas to put a very thin kind of hazy, gauzy layer of paint on here to create that illusion of a mist.
Ellie, someone's wondering if they are struggling with value specifically, do you have any suggestions for like exercises or things they should do to practice value?
Yeah, you just really look to see if you have every value covered. So if I look at this, I would call this a 2 value, and I would call this like a 9. And so I'm still missing that 1 in 10. And I can just add more lighter paint on top of this and get this to that 1 or that 0. And I have a lot of values in the midtones. So you just look at your painting, you look and you really, most people don't mess up in value by not having enough midtones and everything is just black or white. Most people are a little bit tentative. If you're unfamiliar or you're kind of new to art, you don't feel very confident in your art, your values are going to tend to go more towards the middle, and you're not going to have enough boldness or contrast. And so if you stand back from your drawing or your painting, 30 feet, you should be able to see that contrast. If you can barely make out what you painted, that means your values are all too close. So you just have to push yourself to really, get those values.
Someone's asking if she's using transparents now. She's moved on to
I can't
opaques.
hear you.
Oh, I was talking to the audience. But
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess that's good I can't hear you then.
But we're talking about how you're using opaque paint now, not just transparents. And yes, the brush she's using is from the Fearless set, 2-inch chip brush, also known as Elli's favorite brush.
Yeah. I do love this brush. I'm going to work down to smaller brushes in a minute, and I need more white paint, so I need to get some white paint here. And here's just a quick tip for a palette. I really like a glass palette because you can just clean up super fast and easy by using a straight-edged razor and just scraping it. And then you don't get those paint boogers from the dry paint. So fast and easy.
And very satisfying.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to use this roller. What do I want to do with the roller? I think I'm going to do some stuff in here with the roller because it's going to add kind of this almost impasto-like texture to it. And adding a little bit of white into that violet for hopefully a bit of a more intense kind of color. And as you can see, it adds this neat texture to it.
Someone's asking if the Fearless brush set is suitable for both acrylics and oil paints.
You can, but I just use it for acrylic. It's really harder to clean with, with the oil.
Yeah.
So I just use it for acrylic.
Yeah. There's a few brushes from my Fearless set that have migrated over to my oil brush set, but they're mixed media brushes, so mix your media.
I'm just going to bring the bucket of paint over here so when I run out, I can just grab it.
Ooh, someone's wondering what brand of rollers do you like and where you get them?
I like these speedball rollers. They are soft, the brayers are soft, and so it really gets you a very nice, I don't know, when there's more give to it, it just works better. I don't understand the hard brayers. I don't know why people use those. I don't even know what they would use them for. Anytime I get a hard brayer, I'm like, what do you do with this? So I like the soft ones. Okay, so now it's time for a smaller brush. I'm gonna use this medium filbert here, and I'm gonna just kind of work to intensify a few things. I wanna get a really like bright, juicy magenta.
Someone's asking what the best brush is to use for oil, synthetic, or sable, or filbert. Filbert is a brush shape. It's the, she's using a filbert right now. I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's where it's kind of rounded at the top. But as for synthetic versus natural, I mean, you'll hear various opinions. What do you think, Ellie, for oil paint?
For oil, I know it's not PC, but I like the natural brushes.
Yeah.
They just hold a lot more paint. So I like a nice sable brush myself. They've come a long way though in kind of creating, you know, different synthetic brushes that mimic them. And I think they've done a pretty decent job with that.
Can you use gesso instead of white paint? I would not recommend doing that.
No.
Gesso serves a particular purpose, which is to just prep a surface. At least I've never heard of anyone ever like using it to paint with.
It's not saturated enough. It'll be very thin and watery, and you know, you're not going to get that saturation like you would get with titanium.
Yeah. Ooh, what about hybrid brushes? I don't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, they have hybrid brushes. They're very good. But you know, the pure is better than. But if you're trying to save a little bit of money, and you know, because obviously the natural brushes are more expensive.
So when you're creating like this, Ellie, do you have all 7 elements of art in your mind at like once and you're thinking about them, or are you like choosing 1 or 2 or a few to like focus on?
Yeah, I think in the initial, when I'm first starting, I think about color a lot, because you're kind of laying the foundation of the color that you want to have. And I think a good way to start is just a dominant color. So I picked basically violet towards magenta as my dominant color. And so that means I can, as the dominant color, I can use a whole range from this kind of blue violet to a very pinky violet, pinky magenta, and everything in between. And then its counterpart or its complement, which would be this lime green. So as kind of an accent color or something to kind of offset it. So that is, what I'm thinking about first is what I thought of that before I even started. What is my color story? And then, I've been thinking about value a lot, and I'm trying to like pull these highlights here in certain areas. I lightened up a lot of things. I pushed that differential of the values. I'm thinking of scale. I don't want everything, the same size. So, this brush stroke, this brush stroke, this brush stroke, they're different sizes. And I'm about to start thinking about line a bit more because I'm going to add a little bit of charcoal and, see where that goes. I think I want to do that actually now. And this isn't charcoal, is it? This is a paint pen. So I'm going to mess around with this paint pen because I don't know, it needs some stuff. And I'm thinking about like midground, foreground, background, and now I'm kind of working more in the foreground. So I've established my background. I might smooth this out a little bit. It looks a little unfinished, but basically my backgrounds are there. And then this is what I would call my midground. And then my foreground is, these higher things, these more keyed up things I put on top, creating that contrast. And now I'm really thinking about the foreground. And that's where these idea boards can help me. I might look at this and go, oh yeah, polka dots. I love polka dots. Or I might, look at some of this and decide I want to pull some of this, up and add some of that periwinkle blue to that. That might be a way I go. I think I subconsciously remembered seeing that and added that there because now that I look, I got this sort of stripe on the exact same side. So I must have remembered that subconsciously. So I'm going to be looking at this for inspiration. I'm going to really look at these charcoal abstract drawings for inspiration just to see like, maybe what do I want to do? And now I'm wishing I had white charcoal that I look at this. I think white charcoal might be really cool, but it would probably take me too long to go find some. So I might just have to miss out on that one. And, I think this pen is kind of cool. So playing off of some of the stuff that's already there a little bit and just, messing around and using it in different ways, different thicknesses. And at this stage, again, I can come in with paint and cover some things up if I don't like it, if it's not working for me. So, that's always good to have that kind of, forgiving kind of materials where you can just change it if you don't like something.
Yeah. She's using a paint marker. What brand is that?
This is Liquitex.
Oh.
It's a Liquitex day.
Yeah. Liquitex sells so much stuff.
Also, I kind of like to connect things from edge to edge. You know, just like in non-abstract painting, you want your objects to kind of touch the edges or go off the edges in 3 parts. You know, that's kind of a thing that's out there. So that, you know, that can come in handy. You know, when you're in abstract land, trying to you know, think about how you want to arrange your little doodads. So, so I think like charcoal just gives a just such a beautiful element, because you can just do something like that, and then, you know, come in with a dry brush and, you know, play with it a little bit and mess around, and as soon as you spray it, you know, it's there to stay, and it'll be permanent. So I really like charcoal because you can you know, do a lot with it, and it's very forgiving.
People are wondering where you're thinking your focal point will be.
I was going for this to be the focal point, so I need to kind of like do something there. I was thinking about that earlier, and I have this fluorescent pink ink. You know, focal points are so easy. You can literally just put like a fluorescent pink dot or something, and you know, or an area, and it'll work as your focal point, as long as you're kind of set up for it. So I feel like our eye really does want to go there. There's not enough drawing us there yet, but I can just, you know, come in and mess around with the values and push the contrast for that. And, you know, we got this nice lead-in with this lime green here.
Someone's wondering what you spray the charcoal with to make it permanent.
You can use fixative or just a gloss varnish, a spray varnish.
Yeah. I think Winsor & Newton fixative is really good. And some people are wondering, how do you know when you're done with an abstract?
Yeah, well, when it's resolved. So I could be done. I think I need, you know, that focal point. And this, I don't know if this fluorescent is working. It's almost like I need fluorescent paint, but just really want that bright. Oh, I know what to do. I know what to do. Here's how you fix that. So we're gonna make white marks, very light value, and then they're gonna dry, and then I'm gonna glaze it with the fluorescent ink. Ooh. And that will get it nice and, you know, maybe I'll do the polka dots I was thinking about. I'm gonna look at my reference. I got all these polka dots, and I haven't done anything concerning polka dots. It's almost like I didn't even look at these things.
Yeah, someone's wondering if you have any advice for people that struggle making idea boards.
Just grab what you love and what you are attracted to, and don't think about it. It should be a right brain response, just something you know, just aesthetically respond to. That's what I did. And
yeah, grab first, think later.
yeah. That's so funny. This brush is making arrows, not polka dots, so we're gonna go with that. They're like little birds. think I'm gonna have them go all the way across, like a little flock of birds.
Wow, that's so fun. Someone's asking, how do you clean your glass palette? With a razor blade. If it's
Yeah.
acrylic, you can squirt some water on it to kind of like loosen the paint a little bit, and then it'll come right off. I feel like it's brand new again. So what if you're a lefty? Do I think in the left brain? No. Actually, studies say that left-handed people tend to be more creative. So, I mean, everyone has a left brain and a right brain, don't?
Here's my birdie epicenter here.
Oh, someone's wondering, if you add charcoal on a painting, does the paint have to be dry?
Dry-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be like smudging your paint unless you want that look, I guess, but
All right, I really want to do that blue, that kind of periwinkle blue look.
some people are wondering what kind of brush you're using. Is that a cat tongue brush?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what cat tongues actually look like, though?
I don't know. They're so fast with their tongue, you can't, who knows what they look like. I mean, can you imagine trying to grab a cat's tongue and pull it out to see what it looks like?
Can't say I've tried.
My cat wouldn't put up with it, I can tell you that. I'm sure somebody knows what a cat tongue looks like, but...
If anyone in the chat knows, can you confirm if this is what a cat's tongue looks like?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if this is dry yet. Pretty dry. I'm gonna glaze it now with the fluorescent. See if that worked. My plan worked. Maybe this just needs to be shaken. Daler, Rowney, come on. Your product is not impressing me right now. If this was Liquitex, it'd probably be good. I'm just kidding. I'm not a Liquitex distributor or anything.
Liquitex does have really good inks, though, I will
It's
say.
working. Look, my plan worked.
Ooh.
Uh-oh, I have wet paint.
It's adding to it. It's intentional.
Ah!
Someone asked, did Ellie dress to coordinate with her painting today? It does a little bit.
All right. It works as a glaze.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, drippy drip. So now, all right, well,
Someone asked a while ago if abstract painting is something that we go into depth in the mastery program with.
Yeah, we don't necessarily go in depth. There are some lessons on abstract painting, and what we go in depth on is your voice. And so when you've determined, and also a bunch of mixed media techniques. So basically that's what I'm doing right here, is a bunch of mixed media techniques. So once you learn all these mixed media techniques, then you can apply it in your voice, your style, to what we teach you about abstracts. So a lot of people ask us in the mastery program, and in case you don't know what the mastery program is, it is our one-year program that's designed to be taken in a year that helps any artist at any level learn the skills and to develop the style to become a professional artist. And included in that is a whole section on marketing and promoting your artwork so that you can run your own art business and learn how to monetize it and be able to make a full-time living selling your art. So that is the mastery program. So we teach you drawing, oil painting, all kinds of mixed media techniques, how to work with acrylics, inks, all the different techniques I'm showing you here, plus so much more. Because remember, this is just a free video on YouTube. So the mastery program is a one-year course. So it is like, you can't even compare it. I mean, it is just truly life-changing. That's what most of the artists that take the program tell us, is that it's radically changed their life. So, anyway, once you've learned all these mixed media techniques and you learn how to create abstracts, then you can become an abstract artist, and when you build out your portfolio, concentrate on abstracts. So but on the other hand, if you want to be a realism painter and focus on realism, you can do that. You could be a landscape painter, you could be a figurative painter. It's really 100% up to you by the time you get to portfolio. So the method that we take you through is we load you up with skill in the first quarter, or the first half of it, first quarter of the program. And then in the second quarter of the program, we load you up with more technique and skill in the water-based mediums. And then that's when you develop your process and you find your voice. And then in the third quarter, you develop your portfolio and really see what your voice and your style looks like on the canvas and the themes that you want to paint in. And you see all that skill that you've gained come to fruition in your portfolio. And then in the fourth section, you learn all about marketing, and you continue to build out your portfolio while you learn about how you want to build your business that serves your needs and your goals and what you're aiming to do and accomplish as an artist. So it's a really fantastic program. We have tons of success stories of people that have gone through the program that have gotten out of their jobs, and they are now full-time artists, earning a living as artists. And in fact, in the very first assignment of the mastery program, what you do is you do an oil painting of a bird, and we teach you the subtractive method of how to pull out value with a subtractive method to paint this bird. And then we teach you glazing and how to paint with opaques to make a realistic bird painting. And then so this is the very first week. You complete that painting in the first week, and then we have this guide that's printed out that if you follow the guide and do what we tell you in the guide, we show you how to sell your first painting or your bird painting. And so many of our artists that go through that first week actually follow the prompt and really follow the guide, and they actually sell their first painting. So we prove to you in the very first week that you can make it as a professional artist, because with just 1 week in the mastery program, you're able to create a painting and sell your painting. So it's really, really fantastic. It is absolutely life-changing. What it does to you with your confidence as an artist is absolutely radical. And people being able to live out your purpose and know that you can actually do it, and that this isn't a pipe dream, this isn't just something you'll do one day or you hope for, but it actually can happen, is one of the most thrilling adventures you could ever go on. And it just makes everything in life purposeful, meaningful, profound, beautiful. And that is the huge gift that the Mastery Program has brought thousands of artists. So you might be in the chat and already in the Mastery Program. Feel free to share your thoughts on your experience in the Mastery Program. And I wouldn't miss out if that's you and this is really stirring you and you're really feeling like, man, that sounds like a fantastic program for me. Tanner will or probably already has, puts the link in the chat here, and you can go and check it out. There's a full syllabus on the information page where you can see, all the things that you'll learn. There's tons of information. We also have, it's not just an online course that you just buy and you're on your own. We are an online school. It comes with a whole community. So we have a thriving community with an app with thousands of artists on there from all over the world that you can connect with. We have a private space for Mastery students that comes with the course. It's already included. And we have professional artists in there, coaches that have gone through the program themselves, and they are selling their art there to help you with every assignment. They're there to answer your questions, give you feedback and critique your artwork. We have live Zoom calls where you can connect with the coaches and other students and make friends. We do these art retreats several times a year, and I go on these art retreats and where we travel and paint together. And in fact, right now, as we speak, there's an art retreat happening in Rhodes, Greece. And 2 of our graduates from the program, who are not only coaches and mentors for us, but also professional artists. In fact, in our gallery, we just sold Asia's painting just yesterday. So Asia and Bree are running the retreat right now, and a bunch of artists from all over the world are gathering in Rhodes, Greece. And they're learning from Asia and Bree. They are painting together. They're eating, fabulous Greek food and hanging out together and meeting each other. And the cool thing is, every retreat I go on, I see people from the Mastery Program, and they know other people on the retreat from the Mastery Program. And this person lives in, Denmark, and this person lives in the Netherlands, and this person lives in Texas, and they already know each other through the community, and they've seen each other in the Zoom calls, and now, they're on some art retreat, maybe in Greece or something like that, really seeing each other face to face, and they become lifelong friends. So it is absolutely fantastic. A super warm and encouraging community where you can get real feedback for where you stand and how to improve and how to get better, and really to help you progress along your art journey to reach your dream and your goal of being able to do this full time, to be able to create something from your heart, from your gut, right there on the canvas that other people can buy and enjoy and be transformed by. And we see it all the time. So the Mastery Program is really the place to be. It's where you really want to learn all the things that you need to know in order to achieve that. So don't miss out on it. We have enrollment. You can enroll right now, and the cohort will start on June 1st, on the 1st of the month. So you can enroll now and get your space prepared, get your supplies together, and be able to start very soon, in just a little over a week. So fantastic opportunity. I don't want you to miss that.
Yeah, and I want to highlight in the chat, some people are saying, like Amy Knight said, I sold all the paintings I did in the first part of the program.
Wow.
That's awesome. And Linda said she sold everything she painted in the program, just graduated and sold her first $1,000 painting.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
Someone was wondering how much time per week do they need to commit to the master program if they want to finish in a year?
If you want to finish in a year, then you need to commit 20 hours a week, and that includes watching the videos. So the mastery program, there are live Zoom calls in every time zone you can imagine, because we have coaches and mentors all over the world. We have coaches that live, in the East, and we have some that live in the West. So every time zone is covered. But the actual classes with the assignments and the instruction are on your own time and your own schedule. So you can take your classes at midnight, you can take your classes at noon. It is entirely up to you. And it requires about 20 hours a week to complete the drawings, to complete the paintings, and including watching the videos. There's also worked into the program a few breaks, so you can either catch up on things during those breaks and take the time off, or you can blaze through and get done even quicker. Or if you have a vacation that came up, those breaks are helpful. So to finish in a year, you need about 20 hours a week.
Yeah. And, you can always go at your own pace too, whatever works for you, faster or slower.
Some people go faster, some people go slower. I've known people that they take 3 years. I've known people it takes 18 months. I know people it takes 10 months. I've known people that go full time and do it in about 6 months. So it's really 100% up to you. And that is the beauty of online learning, because you're not on anybody's time frame. You're on your own time frame. So that is the beauty of it. It can work really with any lifestyle, any obstacle that you might have. There are people that have graduated from the program that have had the same obstacle. So it is all doable. It just matters how big your dream is, how much of the desire that you have to do this. So also, we have a money-back guarantee. If for any reason you enroll and you get started and within 30 days you decide this is not for you, it wasn't what you expected, you get your money back. So we have a satisfaction guaranteed return policy within 30 days of signing up for the program.
Yeah. Someone's wondering if they can pick who their personal coach is.
Yeah, we also have coaching is included in the program. If you want to pay a little bit extra, oh, by the way, you might be wondering, how much does this cost? So the cost of the program is $3,600 if you pay upfront, as one payment. But we also have payment plans. So there's a 12-month payment plan, or there's a 2-year payment plan. So you can just kind of look at the options and see which one is right for you. If you upgrade to having a personal mentor, then you can choose your own mentor. All the mentors are there. You can read through their bios. You can go and look at their websites, look at their artwork, and you can choose your own mentor, or you can have us choose one for you. So either way, and the upgrade for personal mentorship is only $200 a month. Can you imagine that? Having a professional artist in your back pocket that you can message every single day and get real-time feedback on your artwork, critiques, and a one-on-one Zoom call for only $200 a month. I mean, I've been a part of various things and classes that I've taken, and anytime personal mentorship is offered for that price, you get to email them once a week or something like that. To be able to message them as much as unlimited messaging and hear from your mentor every single day and have live Zoom calls with them, it's really unheard of for that price. So it's a fantastic offering that we have for you. And every one of our mentors is building their businesses, selling their art, and they've all gone through the program. They've all experienced exactly what you would be experiencing. They've gone through the self-doubts. They've experienced the heartache of a painting not turning out right or to their satisfaction. They've experienced the joy and the extreme, euphoric victory of a painting that is a breakthrough. That joy that you feel discovering your voice and seeing, who you really are and what you're born to do right there in front of you. They've experienced that. They've all experienced seeing their whole portfolio of 30 paintings being created right before their very eyes. They've all built their websites and put their marketing plans together, and they've been in art shows. They've applied to different galleries. They've gotten licensing deals and had their artwork on puzzles and that kind of thing. They've done these things. They're mentoring you and teaching you and coaching you through experience. It's not just following some recipe and they don't know what they're talking about. These are real life professional artists that are living it out every single day. So that is an incredible opportunity. There's not very many places that I know of where you have access to that. So, super cool. Another incredible thing I just want to mention about our school is that we don't just, try to sell you into the mastery program and, get your money and we're done. And, good luck, have a nice life. We have relationships with these artists for years and years to come. Every graduate of the mastery program has the opportunity to join SOPA. That is our Society of Professional Artists. And that is where, after you've graduated as a professional artist, you can join this community and still continue to learn from us, still learn from our whole team. So we open up our whole team to SOPA members where they can access our marketing team, our gallery director. I'm in there, Dimitra's in there, my daughter, and we critique artwork. We have masterminds where we talk about all kinds of different topics for professional artists. We offer opportunities to these artists to sell their art and join different shows and connect with different art dealers or different opportunities that are around. We have contests. There's lots of opportunities to earn money, to win money. SOPA is a fantastic place, and every month it grows. Every month there's new opportunities. Every month there's new members, and every month it's more and more of an asset. So, it's basically a community that if you want to, you can be a part of for a very long time, for your whole career, and continue to grow as an artist. So that's another very unique thing that we offer, because I'm still a professional artist. I still sell my work. I'm still growing. I'm still learning, and I'm still sharing all the things that I learn as I build my business. So it's a very unique school where professional artists are helping other artists become professional artists. So are there any more questions or?
I think one last question someone can ask, if you can explain what pre-enrollment is and how that will lead into the actual enrollment.
Yeah, so right now you can enroll, meaning you can sign up and pay for the mastery program, and then you will begin getting all kinds of information. You'll be connected immediately with the coaching community, so all of your questions can be answered. You can connect with the coaches. You can post questions right there in the community feed and get your answers, get your questions answered right away. You also, on the beginning of the month, on the first of the month, your classes will be opened. That means you can start your assignments at the beginning of the month. But there's all kinds of really valuable information, orientation, all kinds of things that you can be a part of that will help you really get prepared to start your classes with success. So all pre-enrollment just means is that you can enroll into the mastery program, be led into the coaching community, be given that valuable information to get started, and be ready to start at the beginning of the month. So you can do that right now. You can do that, right after this live, and already get connected. So that's really what pre-enrollment is. Once it's the beginning of the month, the first day of the month, then all the classes are open, and that's when your cohort will start their assignments. Okay, so this was really, really fun. I enjoyed exploring the elements of art with you, and I had a lot of fun creating this piece. And I hope that this inspired you. I hope that you walk away from this with more knowledge and more inspiration and definite things that you can apply to your own artwork to elevate your artwork. And I hope that from here on out, you really think about the elements of art with your own artwork, and whether you make an abstract or you make a landscape or you make a portrait or whatever it is you're creating, you include that into your art practice. So thanks for being here with us, and I'll see you in the next workshop.